Okay.
There you go, new invention.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
This is real.
And the fun begins.
Ready?
I think so.
All right, I have to give a speech for my college class. I'm getting ready to try and get my associates in criminal justice. So this is an informative speech. The informative speech is going to be on methamphetamine and the rising use in the United States. In the near future, if we don't combat the use of methamphetamine in the United States, it's going to start overrunning our neighborhoods and our community as a whole. A brief history that we'll go into on methamphetamine. In 1919, it was, I guess, discovered, or a pharmacologist in Japan is actually the one who made it. And the reason he was making it was to go forth and try and alleviate fatigue and combat like hunger and everything. And then they found out, it was like, oh, right now the war's going on, so we're going to use this drug and give it to our kamikaze pilots. So with that being done, the kamikaze pilots were taking it not only to alleviate fatigue and hunger issues, but also gave them the feeling that they could overcome anything, and they'd go forth doing that. Also, with some of the history of it, methamphetamine was first designed in pill form, and then about the 1920s they started injecting it for medical purposes to try and see what all they could use it for. Narcolepsy was one of the things that they were trying to use it for, to combat since it's keeping people awake and everything. After pill injection form and everything, in the 1980s is when it started to be smoked. And when that came about, when they were starting to develop it, it wasn't really being developed for smoking purposes. This was your biker gangs and everything that said, hey, we can make this stuff on the side. All the chemicals are readily available. Anhydrous ammonia, that's one. Pseudoephedrine, your Sudafed. That's why now when you go to the store, you have to get it from behind the counter, because in the 1990s, the DEA got involved in it, and they started saying, hey, you know what, we're going to track all these precursors that'll make the methamphetamine. So with them tracking the precursors and everything now, that's why when you're going to the pharmacy, hey, I got to sign this, you can only buy a certain amount, and these computer systems are linked with all the other pharmacies around. So that's why they take your name, driver's license number. They're getting that information down to make sure you're not buying, 400 or 500 packets of it, to where you're going to cut it down and make it into methamphetamine. Then some statistics on it. In 2010, in the United States, 15 tons of methamphetamine was seized. So, and then it's obviously rising with different statistics that are out there, because 2011 we seized 23 tons of methamphetamine in the United States. Don't have any other numbers at this time. None of them have come out for 14, 15, well obviously not 15, but there's obviously a growing number of it. And other statistics you're going to read in the United States are going to say that meth in general is falling. The decline is falling. Where it's increasing is certain areas. Brazos Valley is one of the areas. The whole area encompassed is actually on the rise in use of methamphetamine. Very rural areas and everything used to be your predominant meth use, out in the country. Hey, we're gonna go. Now you have people making meth in Walmart bathrooms. So, and meth has no boundaries. It knows no color, no race or anything. It doesn't matter what color, anything you are. It affects everyone. It's cheap. The high is longer than cocaine or heroin. So you can get half a gram of meth for $50. You can go buy a little bit of cocaine. I mean, just a one hitter of cocaine is going to cost you $30, and it's going to last for an hour or two. So $50 out of a gram of meth, or half a gram of meth, you can probably get 4 uses out of it, and then your high is going to be 4 to 12 hours on that. I'm going to pass out some visual aids. This is going to be what the methamphetamine looks like. It's going to have some pictures in here too that shows you a progression of what meth will do to you over time. Y'all can pass that around to each other and look through that. Huh? The crystalline substance and everything, when they're making it, that's how it forms when you start cutting with the anhydrous or some of the ether and everything. Everything that meth is made out of is all natural. So with you looking at that, you ever heard the term meth mouth? People's teeth are all black and falling out and everything. So you go in and seeing people's use of methamphetamine. A lot of that's usually a telltale sign. The sores on people's arms and faces. You'll see them constantly picking. You'll see them tweaking out, looking all nervous and everything, jerking, looking like Smokey. So, I mean, if you start seeing that, I mean, just remember where you're seeing it. Even if you get a chance, jot down license plate number, see what you saw. Call up the local PD or state, whoever you need to call. Hey, man, I saw this. This was the neighborhood. Because you don't want to come into your neighborhood.
Yeah.
You got kids. I've got kids. I don't want it around my kids. It's horrible. And meth, like I said, knows no boundaries. It'll affect everyone. So, and then meth, the way it works on their high is it increases your dopamine. So it's going to give you that natural high, and you're going to go into there, and you're never going to be able to get that first high back that you got, because then your dopamine levels are all screwed up from there and everything else. So that's usually what people are doing, chasing that high that they'll never be able to get. So if you know the signs to look for, also on people's houses, the signs to look for, the aluminum foil all over the windows. Meth heads don't like the daylight. You'll usually see them in the evening times. They're going to be very jittery, paranoid about everything. If you start seeing all this in the neighborhoods, start making some mental notes, then let's get in and start contacting our local PDs and enforcement and start going from there. So that's about all I have on that. Some of my references I got this from was the National Geographic Channel, drugfreeworld.org, drugabuse.gov, a DRE expert from Washington County Sheriff's Office, Jonathan Pryor, and then myself from working with it. So that's all I have on there. Hopefully from here y'all be able to help combat the use of methamphetamine around in your neighborhoods. Good.